What's up, everyone? Welcome to Breaking Tables. I'm your host, Alex, and today we've got a big show. We'll be kicking things off talking about the two releases out of Miami, Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill, two star players cut from the Miami Dolphins, and we'll later get to some of the contract extensions and signings throughout the back half of last week and one today by the Buffalo Bills. This new Miami Dolphins team calls an end to this failed regime of Mike McDaniel. Along with it, you could say bye-bye to Tyreek Hill, bye-bye to Bradley Chubb. And both of those players are coming towards an end of their career, getting a little older, and occupying a lot of cap. So it makes a lot of sense for the Miami Dolphins to make these moves. But now, when you're a Bills fan or just any other NFL fan, you get pretty excited. You see two star players hit free agency, and your first instinct is, I want my team to go get them. Well, I'll stop you guys on Tyreek Hill. Here's why Tyreek Hill is not a good signing for the Buffalo Bills. First of all, he's 31. He's definitely on the downwards trajectory of his career, not getting any better from here, especially after dislocating his knee in week 4 and tearing his ACL in the process. Just not ideal when you're an aging receiver and your strong suit is speed. Just not what you want. So for Tyreek Hill, I'm going to cut it pretty short. Just not someone you want on this team, especially with everything going on off the field. It seems like there's something new every day. Now for Bradley Chubb, here's someone that is extremely intriguing as we approach free agency. 8.5 sacks last season, 2 forced fumbles, and 47 total tackles. Just what you want out of your edge rusher on a struggling team. The Bills, on the other hand, have been trying so hard to bring in that highly skilled edge rusher. We'll start off with A.J. Epineza, second round pick invested into him, doubling down on Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham, a first and a second. And then you got Von Miller signing to this mega deal, didn't even get to finish it. And then Joey Bosa this last offseason, brought him in, didn't do what you had hoped. You know, it was a nice story. All of us really hoped that he would be able to pick up where he left off pre-injury, but it just didn't work out that way. And now the Buffalo Bills are presented an opportunity. Do you continue to gamble early on in the draft, grab these guys like Epineza and Boogie Basham who just haven't amounted to anything? Or, dare I say, Landon Jackson. I know he had his injury, but that's a third round pick invested into the guy. Now you have Bradley Chubb sitting for you on free agency. His market value will be anywhere from 20 to 30 million. Probably 30 million for teams that aren't really contending, and closer to 20 million for teams like the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. I hope they don't sign him, but teams like that. And when you have a team struggling to find that upper echelon pass rusher like the Buffalo Bills have for so long, it really doesn't make sense not to look at a guy like Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb is highly skilled, highly athletic, and his strong suit is rushing the passer. You have guys like Greg Rousseau who can stop the run. A.J. Epineza's entering free agency. Joey Bosa entering free agency. It makes so much sense for the team like the Bills to target a guy like Bradley Chubb. And I'm very, very curious to see how far they push to get a guy like that, especially on a very, very unattractive, dare I say, edge market. I'm telling you guys, look at this edge market heading into free agency. You got guys like Leonard Floyd, A.J. Epineza as some of the top names. Obviously, you have Hendrickson, but he's going to cost a lot more than Bradley Chubb. I'd go after Bradley Chubb if I'm the Buffalo Bills. Brandon Beane, pick up the phone. And that's everything you guys need to know about the two star players released out of Miami, along with wide receiver Westbrook Akine and offensive guard James Daniels. Miami are just clearing house, freeing up as much money as they can. Exactly what you want to do if you're Greg Hafley and Jon-Eric Sullivan. Not ideal from a Bills fan's perspective, but we can't control everything. Moving on, a signing I think every single Bills fan loved to see last week. Alec Anderson, the offensive lineman, signed to a 1-year deal worth $3 million, 1.8 guaranteed. And I was going to say offensive guard, but he can really play anywhere. He was a favorite coming in on those jumbo sets last year, not this past season, but the 2024 season. We didn't see much of that this year due to the addition of Jackson Hawes being a really good blocker, but he's extremely talented and can play anywhere on the line. We see him come in time and time again when Connor McGovern has a little issue, David Edwards has a little problem, Osiris Torrance. So he's someone that has proven his value to the Buffalo Bills and is just someone that is extremely flexible. He really reminds me of Ryan Bates. I don't know if you guys remember him, but 4 or 5 years ago, he was kind of that fan favorite 6th or 7th offensive lineman on the team. And Alec Anderson might just be that, but even better. I think the fact that they didn't just tender him on his restricted free agent title and instead extended him shows that maybe he has a bigger role in for 2026. You have Connor McGovern and David Edwards, 2 interior linemen, the guard and the center, both scheduled to hit free agency. I'd love to see both of them return. This line has been phenomenal since the addition of these guys. But when you pay Anderson that $3 million and he's proven that he can hang in with the big boys and play with the ones, maybe it's time you give him a shot. Maybe it's time you let Connor McGovern or David Edwards, one of them, hit free agency, occupy a little more money on a deal with another team. You have enough money to bring in the other one you didn't let walk, Edwards or McGovern. And with that money, you can sign Anderson and you have a little more to play with rather than spending big on 2 offensive linemen that can be replaced essentially when you have a guy like Anderson just under the roster, that second string, third string spot. And one more signing I wanted to get into before I got into the 2 deals that happened today was Javonte Williams getting re-signed by the Dallas Cowboys, having a career high season. Exactly what everyone wanted to see. Javonte, a guy battled injuries for so long in his career in Denver, got a new fresh start with the Cowboys, rushed for 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns, and they reward him. 3 years, $24 million. There you go, Javonte. That is a great deal. And before getting to that one last Bill signing that happened today, I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons franchise tagging their tight end, Kyle Pitts. $16.5 million will be the franchise tag. And boy, he came off of a monster season. 928 yards on 88 receptions and 5 touchdowns, a career high for him. Obviously not the yards. He broke that in his rookie year, breaking 1,000. Kyle Pitts, really love to see the guy bounce back after a couple struggle years in Atlanta, not really getting many looks, not being used properly. And now you have a weapon. So just happy to see guys like Javonte Williams and Kyle Pitts just have this career resurgence, whether it's with a new team or a new quarterback. They finally got that production that they were heavily anticipated to do. So that's really cool to see. Really cool to see them both healthy. And last but not least, the Buffalo Bills have re-signed Phidarian Mathis to a 1-year deal. The defensive tackle out of Alabama, drafted by Washington, was expected to do a couple nice things in the league, but he never really got his shot in Washington. And he hit free agency. The Bills snagged him up, had him mostly as a practice squad guy until bringing him up to the roster, and then he never left. He really proved to be a serviceable to good defensive tackle along the season of 2025. No matter which game, you can call him up and he can fill in that spot. Obviously, he's not a game wrecker. He's not your Ed Oliver. He's not your Deion Walker. He's not even your TJ Sanders. But he's someone that is worth a roster spot, especially in the offseason. When no one else is looking, quickly hit him on that re-sign. 1-year deal. It can't be that much money, although the details aren't fully out yet. It's obviously going to be cheaper than the Alec Anderson deal, but it's just really nice to see Brandon Beane prioritize these in-house guys that have proven to be serviceable or good and retain them entering a free agency where there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of starters hitting free agency. So it's really cool to see this front office prioritize some of the guys that are under the depth chart but can produce at a starting level. And that's all I have for you guys today. It was great talking about the 2 star players cut from Miami, Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb, and how they could possibly fit onto this Buffalo Bills roster. I hope when it's all said and done, Bradley Chubb is a Bill by the end of March. It would be absolutely amazing. Him and Greg Rousseau on the opposite edges, rushing the quarterback. There's no counter for that. That is what the Bills need. And I hope that maybe with Sean McDermott gone, maybe they're a little more ambitious on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to looking at players. It'll definitely be cool seeing how they attack the defensive back position now without Sean McDermott. But anyway, I'm not going to ramble. It was also great talking about the 2 players signed by the Bills Phidarian Mathis and Alec Anderson. Great seeing them back for another year. I think big things are in store for Alec Anderson this season. And last, and probably least important on this video, the extension of Javonte Williams and the franchise tag of Kyle Pitts. Two star players having a little career resurgence with a change of scenery for Javonte, and Kyle Pitts finally getting the utilization he deserves, that he is built for. It's just great seeing those two guys finally turn it around after such productive years. Make sure you guys tune in for my next episode where I'll be discussing all of the upcoming free agents on the defensive side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills. It'll be a little longer than today's video. I know it's a little short today, but I'll be talking about guys like Joey Bosa, Matt Milano, AJ Epineza, Shaq Thompson. You name him, every single defensive player entering free agency will be talked about. Obviously not Phidarian Mathis anymore because he is signed, but every single defensive player, be there or be square. Make sure you tune in and make sure you like, subscribe, comment on this video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.